Ruth sat on a small wooden stool, looking down at the dusty floor in her father's hut. She was just 21, but life had already been hard. Her dress was torn, her feet were bare, and her stomach was empty. She had eaten only 1 cup of Gary the whole day. Outside, her father, Mr. Paul, walked up and down like a troubled man. He owed many people in the village, the palm wine seller, the yam trader, even the chief's son. Now, he had a plan to save himself by selling Ruth. That evening, he called her out. "You are getting married tomorrow," he said, not looking at her. Ruth's heart dropped. To who? To a man who can help this family. But Papa, I don't even know him. Ruth cried. Paul raised his hand. If you refuse, don't come back. Sleep outside like a stray dog. That night, Ruth cried herself to sleep. The next day, there was no music, no food, no celebration. Ruth wore an old dress. Her hair was covered with a scarf. The villagers whispered and laughed. They handed her over to a man named Daniel. Daniel looked quiet. His clothes were old, his slippers thin. He lived alone at the edge of the village. No one knew much about him except that he was a carpenter with no friends or family. When Ruth entered his small house, Daniel smiled kindly. "You can take the bed. I'll sleep on the floor." Ruth was surprised. She thought he would treat her badly. But he gave her food, fetched water, and never shouted. Slowly, Ruth began to smile again. 1 week later, as the sun went down, Daniel sat outside. "Ruth," he called gently. "Yes? I think we should move to the city. I've saved some money. We can start fresh." Ruth looked worried. "You only know how to make village chairs. City people like shiny things." Daniel smiled. "If no one buys from me, I will carry wood or even drive. I just want a better life for us." Ruth looked into his eyes. He wasn't forcing her. He was inviting her into his dream. "Okay," she said. "Let's go." They packed their small bags and took an old bus to the city. It was noisy and crowded. Ruth held Daniel's hand tightly. Daniel had already paid for a 1-room apartment. It was small but clean. Ruth smiled. "It's small, but it's ours." Daniel searched for carpentry work, but was rejected. "Your furniture is old style," they said. But one workshop said he could carry wood. Ruth encouraged him. She started frying chin-chin and buns outside their house. At first, only children bought them. Then neighbors came. People loved her snacks. Daniel told her, "Your hands are blessed." Ruth laughed. "At least one of us has talent." Daniel smiled. "My time will come." One day, Daniel got a call from a big company. "Mr. Daniel Kingsley? We got your application. Can you come in for an interview?" Daniel was confused. "Which application?" "A woman dropped your sketches 2 weeks ago." Daniel turned and looked at Ruth. She was sweeping the room but looking guilty. "You believe in me that much?" he asked. Ruth nodded. "More than you believe in yourself." He hugged her tightly. "You are not just my wife. You are my helper." Days later, Ruth heard a knock. It was Luciana, a flashy woman from the village. She laughed loudly. "So this is where you live now?" Then she insulted Daniel, their small house, and even offered Ruth another man. Ruth shouted, "Get out! Peace is better than riches without respect." "I didn't marry Daniel for money. I married him for peace." Daniel did well at the interview. His boss, Mr. Benson, liked him. One day, Mr. Benson said, "You talk about your wife a lot. I want to meet her." Ruth was scared. "What if I embarrass you?" Daniel held her hand. "Just be yourself." She agreed. She went to the company, nervous but strong. Mr. Benson welcomed her, but suddenly his face changed. He tried to flirt with her. He said she was wasting her life with Daniel. He offered her riches if she stayed with him. Ruth stood up and shouted, "You are a disgrace. I may be poor, but I have dignity. I will never betray Daniel." She stormed out of the office. Later, Mr. Benson called her. "Don't tell your husband. If you do, I'll fire him." Ruth shouted, "You are useless and proud. Sack him, and I'll expose you." She told Daniel everything. He was angry but proud. "I will quit," he said. "We will start our own business." Ruth smiled. "We'll sell buns together. Partner in love, partner in hustle." They worked hard. People loved their buns. One day, Ruth came back with a surprise. She had saved money for Daniel to start carpentry again. Then Daniel's phone rang. It was Mr. Benson. He apologized and said, "Come to my house. Bring Ruth." Ruth didn't trust him. But Daniel said, "Let's hear him out." At the house, Ruth was shocked to learn Mr. Benson was Daniel's father. Years ago, he told Daniel to go to the village and find a woman who loved him for who he was. Daniel found Ruth. "Now," Mr. Benson said, "you both deserve better. I want to redo your wedding, a grand one this time." 2 weeks later, Ruth and Daniel had a beautiful wedding. Everyone came. Even her father in the village called her. "Forgive me," he said. Ruth replied, "I forgave you, but I will never return to that life." Ruth and Daniel started again. With love, with faith, with peace. And they lived happily ever after. Like the video, share it with friends, and don't forget to subscribe. For more stories, hit subscribe and turn on the bell only on Sanka Fatals.